Welcome back to my little channel and thank you for joining me. Now, last night I was watching a YouTube video about why human beings don't ride zebras, but that's unimportant. What we're going to do today is head up to one of my local and most favourite bits of woodland, and we're going to catch the dying embers of autumn before we dive deep into winter. I don't know if you can see it, but it's super misty up there. The sun's not burnt it off yet, so it should be absolutely epic conditions this morning. This is one of those locations I've always earmarked for an astrophotography shot. Milky Way or Orion above me, and star trails and reflections in this dew pond here would look absolutely amazing. But onward to the forest. You won't be able to see it, but you might be able to hear it. There's a massive stag behind me hiding, and you can hear it doing its call. Did you hear that? That echoes all around the valleys around here, and obviously brings all the ladies to his yard. What an absolutely beautiful morning. Even the 1.5 mile uphill walk to get here was well worth it. It's stunning out here. So I've made it to this little bench, which is basically the top of the hill and on the edge of this old woodland here. So let's get into the woodland and find some photographs to take. Going to look at the view for a bit longer first, because there's a patch of sunlight over on the hillside there just lighting up a bit of forest, and it's absolutely on fire with the colours. It's really quite chilly up here, so let's keep moving. There, is that better, Mr. Mushroom? I've B-rolled myself beautifully into one of my favourite bits of woodland, and I'm not going to apologise for all the gratuitous B-roll because it's absolutely beautiful out here. So this bit of woodland is yew tree, and the yew tree forest here I believe is the biggest in Europe, and then it moves into a beechwood forest which is managed. And the reason that's good is because there's loads of tree stumps that have been where trees have been felled for timber, and then the stumps have just got covered in this glorious green moss, and they're perfect conditions for mushrooms to grow out of. So what I tend to do is put my bag down and just wander around examining every stump like this, and when I find one that's got a potential mushroom on, I'll just mark it with a stick so I can find it later. If you don't, you'll probably never find it again. And this tree stump is a good example of what I've been looking for. We've got this lovely mushroom here, and it's up high enough that I can get the camera down low and look up under the cap at the gills. So let's photo this. That was gibberish, wasn't that? I'm nicely set up on this mushroom. I've got my camera in the background there. So let's take a shot. Wake the camera up. Right, gonna use the self timer for this. Five seconds should do. Right, focus, and there's a little bugly on the mushroom. Stay there. That's beautiful. So while I was shooting the last mushroom, I deliberately put this little tripod here to protect this mushroom down here. I didn't want to squash it because this guy's going to be my next subject. So we got the mushroom, should be in the bottom of the screen as you're looking at it, and I will put you in camera here so hopefully you can see what we're viewing. In fact, let's switch it over to video. There we go. Will the camera even focus? If I can even find the mushroom. Right, a bit too close there. Ah, there we go. Right, so what we're looking at is this little guy here. I'll try and get it without my tripod leg in the background, that would be a good idea. It's so small and delicate. Judging by all the shotgun fire that's going on today, it's not a very good day to be a pheasant or any other game bird. So here's the tree stump I marked earlier with a stick, just so I could find it again. And it's got some lovely little fungi on it that we're going to photograph. So this is what we're looking at next. These little white fingery mushrooms here. You can't see it, but there's some little water droplets on there which I'm going to try and photograph. I guess I shouldn't really call these guys mushroom, they're fungi really, aren't they? Right, self-timer. Let's go. Put 10-second self-timer on to get this shot. Lovely, that looks really good. Good, let's go and find something else. Here's some more mushrooms. Oh, cool, you gotta be so careful not to knock and disturb something. Here's some more mushrooms I spied earlier, so I'm gonna see if I can get some shots here. So we're nicely set up here. I've got my little light and it's shining light up under the mushrooms, and you can't see it. I'll show you in a minute. I'm using my camera bag here to block the sunlight, because when the sunlight shines on, because it's at an angle, you end up with the stem of the mushroom in bright sunlight and shadow, and it looks a bit weird, so trying to avoid that. Right. The light keeps changing quite drastically out here, so let's get this done quickly. Self timer on. Focus. There we go. Let's wait for that exposure to do its business. I don't know why I talk such rubbish while I'm talking to a camera. Right, are we done? Yes. Unfortunately, it looks a little bit one-dimensional. Maybe I'll try it from a different angle. Unfortunately, I'm really struggling to make this shot work. I'll put the results up, but I don't think they're very good. Determined not to give up on this shot, so I've put a little panel light on it. Now we can drop the exposure down. Right, that's amazing. What a difference. Just a bit of lighting makes. Alright. You probably can't see it, but this stick here is in the background ruining the shot. It's just a blurry distraction. Right, that's beautiful. Oh, I spent so long on that composition that time just flies. So I think I'm going to wander off, and I'm going to drop into a local nature reserve on the way home just to scope that out for some winter bird photography, and then I'm going to go home and find out why zebras aren't ridden by human beings. So thank you for watching, and see you again soon. Bye.